Hey, this is Ronald from Math Skills University, and people have been asking me for the best free video editor. This new update to OpenShot version 3.5.1 is outstanding, and I see this program getting nothing but better. More importantly, it works in Windows, on a Mac, in Linux, and on a Chromebook. Today I'm going to show you why this program is worth taking a look at. Let's go. What OpenShot looks like when you launch the program. Now, if you do decide to go ahead and download Blender because you want to use it for 3D animated titles later, then you can do that as well. Blender.org, and here it is. This also works in Linux, on a Mac, or in Windows. Just download Blender, click on this, and again, I've already downloaded that. To install it, just double click it. Okay, now let's get started with OpenShot. The first thing you want to do is press F11 or Frank 11. Now we're in full screen, and up here we have File, Edit, Title, View, and Help. Basic stuff, save project as. We can export right there as well. Over here under Edit, we have Preferences. I'll get back to that in a second. Then we have titles. This would be your animated titles, so if you decided to install Blender, we can use those there. I just showed you this. Everything you see here, projects, transitions, effects, emojis, etc., those are all going to be docs. We have two separate views. We have a simple view, which we have now, or we have an advanced view, which gets a little more complicated. Down here we have our toolbar, and this is what we did, F11. This is our toolbar right here. We can export, do a quick save, new projects, choose a profile. This is going to be the output of our project. I'll get back to that in a second. Then over here we have help, and there is a tutorial. With that said, let's go back to our simple view. This is our timeline. These are 5 tracks they give you. If I right click here, this is what you get. You can remove a track if you like. Down here we can add a track. Redo, undo, snap to. We can enable timing. Here's our razor tool, add a marker tool. This is really this. We'll bring this in. We have nothing there, but we can slide this up and down the timeline. Here's our player. We cannot go full screen. To go full screen, you can just grab these little dots, open this up as large as you want, or export. There is no full screen. That's how the interface works. Now let's go over to here, edit. This is what we're going to set up first. We have general and these going across. But this is key. You want to make sure by default you set up your profile. It starts out at 720p by 30 frames per second. But if you go all the way up to the top, it actually starts at 16K. Scroll down. Here's your 4K. Here's your 1080p FHD right here by 60 frames a second, for example. That can be your default. Or if you want vertical, go back down a little bit to the bottom. It's below the 720p. Here's your 1080 by 1920, 60 frames per second. So you want to set that up first. I'm going to change this to 1080p. Here's your 1920 by 1080, 60 frames per second. Down here, if you decided to link Blender, you can do that here. Just go find Blender, and here's how you do that. If you're in Windows, just click on the Start button in Windows. Find Blender or type it in. Blender should pop up. Right click on it and then go down to Open File Location. And that's going to tell you where Blender is. So you can link it to OpenShot and then put that there. Next, you're going to have your timeline. This is important. A lot of editors have this at 5 seconds, so we'll change that to 5. That's pretty standard. If you want to restore defaults to any of this, just click on this down here. Then you can go over and you can check out these other options. Preview, how you want things to preview. Here's your audio section. You can change that. When and where you autosave. Do you want this to go to the disk drive or your memory? You might want to go to a disk there. You can change some of these parameters. Here's your performance. And here's how you change your shortcuts. Location for all your project files, things like that. And here's the advanced section. So a restart is required because I made changes to those parameters. Let me exit out and come back in. Okay, now we're back in Blender. And if I go over here to Edit and Preferences, you can see I'm at 1920 by 1080p at 60 frames per second. First, what I'm going to do is delete a few of these tracks. I don't need them. I can always bring some more back. But if you notice on like a lot of other video editors, you don't have mute here, and the track itself is very simple. Before we start bringing in assets, these are the 4 things we're going to use a lot. We have properties, transitions, effects, emojis. Projects is where we're going to have our project files, of course. And under here, as we bring them in, it's going to differentiate audio from video, from images, or you can show all. Next to that, we're going to have transitions. And these transitions look weird, but they work great. Totally different from what you're used to, but they're really good. And you have your basic dissolve and fade in and fade out. Then next over here, we have effects, and we can have video or just audio or all. And then last but not least, we have emojis. Go back over to project files. If you bring down an asset, if you right click on this, there are some options up here. I can play with the volume. Here's where I separate audio from video on a clip. If I right click on this, single clip, right? So now we have the audio down here and the video up here. Give it a second. What you see going across here, the blue line, is it rendering. Now here's my audio down here. If you left double click it, you'll get the properties or the inspector. And here I can do a lot of things with that inspector. I can also keyframe. Start a keyframe. It'll show up in the clip. Do something. Move it down the timeline. Do something else. As you can see, it's going to create keyframes. And they're shown right here. Or not. If I go back and play that, we have standard keyframing. Let's insert a keyframe here. And now we'll rotate the video, so I can just start rotating that, drag it down the line, rotate it some more, drag it down, and then take it back to normal. If I play that back, I'll get this. So this is normal keyframing, except you do it up here. If you right click anywhere, it will tell you what's keyframeable and what is not. Let's bring down some videos. Now they have something called preview. So if I just left click on the video, it starts to play the video. This is the new preview feature, but this is all new too, and the interface has gotten a lot better. If I want to do compositing, just right click on this and I can do compositing this way. To composite, just stack up 2 clips. Click on the first clip, go up here to composite, right click, and we can change it to screen. And as you can see now, we have a screen depositing. Alpha is going to be your opacity, which you can also keyframe. I can take that down to 0. I can right click this and I can use the Bezier tool and I can actually erase and erase out. There are a lot of options with this program. You're going to have to play with it, but it works really good. If you look at the project files, I can just separate audio from video, from images. As you can see, that's pretty simple. Let's get rid of that. Bring down this one and this one. Now let's go over to transitions, and these transitions look strange. I get it. They're different. You can type in what you want, a fade, a dissolve, pop up for you. But even though they look strange here, their effects are really cool. If you want to do just a basic fade transition, all you do is grab a clip and just slide it over. That will create a basic fade in, fade out. You can drag it out if you like. So for example, if you want more of a fade, you need to lap it over more like that. And transitions are done differently. For example, let's bring this one down. Put it right here. How transitions work is, this is at 5 seconds, only because I made that change. Normally this would be a 10-second long transition, which of course is way too long. I want this to be 3 seconds. Bring it in where you want it. Place that transition at the end of the first clip. Then we're going to left click and drag this clip till it lines up right there. So that now becomes our transition. It's almost as if you're manually applying this transition. I can double left click on that transition and I'll get the transition up here. And over here to the left in my inspector, I can make a lot of different changes. I play with this a lot. You can play with it as well. You can also drag this end out to make it longer than the left end. which is totally different concept from any other editor I've ever used. But this is what that will look like. The transitions are simple. Again, they look very strange up here. It's like, what the heck is that? But once you apply it, they look really cool. You just have to remember and write down which ones you like. I would like to see a favorites thing pop up here somewhere. I can view it this way or view it this way. Drag it out on this side only and not the other side. So that fades in longer. If I drag this in and then drag this over, I'll get this effect. Totally changes it. If your transition's acting a little funky, what you might want to do is right click it and reverse the transition. And sometimes that just corrects it. You can also press Ctrl or Command plus Z as in zebra to undo what you just did. Let's bring down another one. And because we already have these lapped, I don't have to relap them, overlap them. This is what that looks like. And keep in mind, the more you overlap them, for example, the longer the transition is going to be. As long as they're overlapped, you can apply that transition. I can also pop one on top of that one, which looks really funky, but as you see both of them now. Remove transition. If I want to get it dissolved, just type this, it'll pop up. As long as you have these clips overlapped, you'll get it, but they must be overlapped. That's mandatory. That's your basic dissolve. Pop down this one. It looks pretty strange. See what that looks like. Different. But keep in mind again, I can change a lot of what's going on with those bubbles right here. You'll see the name of the transition pop up here. Boxes 1, etc., etc. All right, so play around with these transitions. There are a lot of them. Let's go over to effects. Here's video only, and here's audio only. Let's start with audio because it's simple, pretty self-explanatory. Let's cut this here. To make a simple cut, hold down Control or Command plus Shift plus K as in Karen. Let's play this so you can hear what it sounds like before I add some echo. Let's grab an echo and pop it on it, and you're going to see a small E right there. This is your echo effect. If I click on that echo effect, if I look in the inspector, there is my echo. I can make changes to that echo, but here's what it sounds like. That's my echo. If I left click on that, all the effects for that echo are here, and I can make changes right here. To get rid of that, I remove the echo, and now I can pop down this one. Left click on that. These are the effects. Let's hear what that sounds like. Okay, those are just some of your audio effects. Now let's jump over to just video, and as you can see, there are quite a few more options. We can change color saturation. You drop that down on the clip. The S means color saturation. Here I can make changes. Take the saturation all the way down to the left. Now she's black and white. Then you want to add some kind of contrast to that, of course. If I bring that down, I'll see this where it says brightness and contrast. Then you want to play with the contrast a little bit. Always right click. You'll have more options here. And the changes you make will stay on the clip itself. There's also things like stabilization here. I can sharpen up an image here as well. If I drop that down, it looks more like a cartoon if I want that effect, or I can bring it down a little bit and make it look more real. Again, something else you can play around with. If I want to crop a video, there's my C for the crop. Letters will pop up. So this is too big. If I click on this, now I can change the size of that here. If you get a yes or no, just slide it to the left or slide it to the right to change that option from yes to no or no to yes. I can crop this like this, make this fit a little better, about right there. I can right click it and bring in a mask or a transition right here. Resize image, yes. And I can drag this out a little bit if I want as well. And there's that image resized. You can add blurs, just drop it down. If you want to do the vertical bars like they have in the movies, just drop down the bars. And here's where you can change the line. See how you can change the bar size itself. Let's bring that down a little bit. That's too high. How about that? If the clip is unstable, we can also grab a stabilizer. You'll get this. I can change this parameter here going up and down, but basically just go ahead and process it. It should only take a few seconds. Again, the blue line means it's rendering. That's how we change that. But just look at some of the things you can do here. If you want to use chroma key, you can pop chroma key on here as well. And that's normally going to be green, but select your color. Lens flares. That's how you apply video effects. Now let me show you a few more things. Let's track her. Let's go back to her. Let's bring down a tracker. What I want to track is the coffee cup. All you do is just highlight around the coffee cup and let it track. Now let's process that effect. Not going to take long. Click on the tracker. Inside the tracker, as you can see, I'm going to have a blue border around it. This is what it's going to do. You can play around with this, but let's play it back. Did a pretty good job there. What I'm going to do is go over here to emojis. We haven't used those yet. It's Monday. She's pissed. She doesn't want to go to work. So we'll put this here. If I left click on the emoji, I go to properties. Here's my face. I want to make the changes here in terms of its size. It's also very easy to bring in multi-screens. If I want to have 3 vertical screens, if I'm doing a vertical 3x3, I can just grab the videos and put them in place and arrange them the way I want them to be arranged. However, if I'm doing a 4x4, there's a really cool way to do that using layout. If I want to do a 4x4 collage with this, line up all your clips like this, right click on the top one, go up to layout, and then you want to have a quarter size of this go top left. Next clip, quarter size of this go top right. Next clip, a quarter size of this goes bottom left. And then the last one, layout, quarter size goes bottom right. There are the 4 videos we brought in. I want to go larger with that. Just drag this down a little bit and drag it over. And this is what we'll have. I can also pop in some music. Let's just export this. So I can do it there, or I can go down here and to file and export that. But let's export that. This is what we get. We'll call this Ron's Dumb Class. Here are any formats I can use. This is what it's going to go as. I can change that to anything over there. I can make another change here. Make sure the quality is high. And export video. Now there's a lot more we can do here. As you can see, it's very easy to use. You just have to play around with it and get familiar with all the transitions. But it's a very simple user interface. It's 100% free from openshot.org. Try it out. This is what the video looks like. Let's bring it over. If you have any comments, suggestions, questions, or ideas, please leave them below. If you like this content, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching and have a great day. Peace.